Hi all, good evening. Welcome to today's session. We will continue our discussion relating to constitutional background, or otherwise called as the legal background for levy of GST. So we'll discuss the legal background and then some of the important definitions. Our whole day today we will be discussing only about these two important aspects. Hope my audio, video, everything is a little clear to you all. Coming back here. For levy of any taxes in India, we require a legal power from the Constitution of India, which is the mother document for our country. Constitution of India gives powers to the central government to levy taxes. Only based on those powers, central government levy taxes or state government levy taxes. India is operating on a federal structure. Now, India is operating on a federal structure. As far as the federal structure is concerned, central government will have certain powers to levy taxes. State government will have certain powers to levy taxes. And to put it in a very specific way, both the government will have power to levy taxes. Now, very interesting to note, when both the government had power to levy taxes, when we introduced a law like GST, we should ensure that same federal structure is being maintained. Earlier, power to tax is confined in the Article 246 and Article 254. Two articles. Article 246 of Constitution of India and Article 254 of Constitution of India makes discussion very clear that in case of these, in case of any taxes to be levied, if it is mentioned in this article, a power is given to the central government or to the state government. Only based on that, yes, the tax is going to be collected or paid. Sir, if you don't have power, what would happen? If there is no power, very simple, there is no levy of taxes. So having said, the powers are something like this. All along, or I'll rephrase it, until implementation of GST, when it comes to manufacturing of goods, it was exclusively central government who had power to tax. Never a state government had a power to tax. When you bring in GST, there would be a manufacturer also. That manufacturer would manufacture goods. The central government should have the power to tax. So what made government, or what the government thought is, currently central government is not having power to tax the manufacture of goods or sale of goods. Currently the state government is not having power to tax the manufacture of goods or supply of services. Currently, central government is not, state government is not having power to tax sale of goods. Let's introduce a new constitutional entry so that the old entries are all not disturbed. The old entries are all meant for respective purposes. Having thought about it, and many law committees, many legal committees constituted by the government also voiced out that view. Government came up with a constitutional amendment, placed the bill in the parliament in 2014, Constitution Amendment Bill, 122nd Constitution Amendment Bill. Later on, that Constitution Amendment Bill was approved in 8th September 2016 as Constitution Amendment Act. Sir, why should I know about this and all? Maybe all of us are able to appreciate this discussion. Today, no doubt, the prices of crude oil is at a throwaway price. Now, somehow government always feel that the government's revenue or the forex is always used, the government's foreign currency reserve is often used only for two things. One, when it comes to import of goods, the first goods that is highly imported is crude oil. The next goods that we highly import is going to be gold. These are the two goods that we import in a very big way. Having said all this, now government comes up with a proposal that anybody who buy more than 5 liters of fuel a day for your vehicle are alone liable to pay rupees 5 per liter as surcharge. Let me repeat, this restriction may not be applicable for commercial organization. Every individual, if in case they consume per day more than 5 liters, each liter they have to pay a surcharge of rupees 5, and they call this as petrol surcharge tax. Is it possible? A petrol tax is possible like this? Can the Indian government come out and levy? Yes or no? What do you feel? Yes, it can be levied, or no, it can be levied. I want you to answer in the chat box. Quick, quick, quick. Yes or no? Quick, quick, quick. A lot of you are all here. I want a lot more answers. Quick, 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 quick. Yes. Yes, it can be levied. Now, the question here is, can Indian government levy additional surcharge called as petrol surcharge? Is it possible? Can Indian government levy? Is a question. Yes, it can be levied. No. If you carefully note, as long as government has power to levy tax, yes, they can levy. Where are the powers mentioned? The powers are mentioned in Article 246 and Article 254. In fact, in that specific article, as there is no specific rate of tax, then government, no specific head to tax it, bringing this would be difficult. So this gives an understanding to us. For insertion of every tax into the country, there should be an origin at the constitution level. What is that origin? That we call it as your constitutional discussion or a legal background for your GST. Now, legal background for every law like this, you have a legal background for income tax or for customs duty or for any taxes or duty that you have come across. Now, coming back here, we are now going to discuss our discussion only from the GST perspective. Coming back here, Sumit Jain has requested, sir, already prices are so high, so it cannot be levied. Sorry, it need not be levied. No, sorry, definitely if government think and if they have a statutory power to levy tax, they will levy tax. In any case, don't be bothered about it. That is not going to be implemented with the current prevailing prices. There are few definitions for us to discuss on that. The first definition. This definition comes not from the GST Act. Kindly understand. This comes from the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India, Article 366. Constitution of India, Article 366 defines the term goods and service tax. Goods and services tax means a tax on supply of goods or services, or both, except except tax except taxes on supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. If it is going to be a alcoholic liquor for human consumption, if it is going to be a liquor for human consumption, that is not leviable to GST. In fact, you would have come across, many people would have told liquor is not leviable to GST. Many people would have acted in the films and all saying that see, government is not levying GST on liquor. Probably they are all so ignorant that they are not aware that GST cannot be levied on liquor at all. Now, why, if you're going to ask me, very simple. The levy of taxes on liquor is always the power of the state government. It is the state government who have power to tax the liquor. When the power to tax liquor is with the state government and at no stretch of imagination, the products. Now, if you're going to come out and ask me, sir, like this, what products and all government, state government have powers to tax? No other product state government have power to tax. Only one product, which is going to be your alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So we all will remember this word, that all those goods or services are liable to GST except alcoholic liquor for human consumption. In fact, the term service is a beautiful definition. I like that definition very much because it has been so beautifully defined. Service means anything other than goods. Again, the word goods is inclusive definition. It comes out and defines all materials, commodities, and articles. This is a definition available in the Constitution of India. Understand, some of you might be pursuing your law degrees. Some of you might be pursuing your, as part of your graduation, various laws. Now understand, as per the Constitution of India, the mother document, the parent document for the country India, and uh, every citizen is bound by this document. Every act of the government is bound by the document. If something is not there in the document, you are not supposed to do to that extent. Or if you want to do something, in fact, you have to go and amend the document and then only you can do. To that extent, weightage powered document, the document, Article 366 comes out and says all goods, all services are liable to GST except alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So that is a takeaway to us, that liquor meant for human consumption is not liable. Liquor meant for human consumption is not liable to GST. This gives up an immediate understanding what would happen to alcohol used for preparation of medicine. Let me repeat, alcohol is different, liquor is different. When it is used for medical preparation, maybe it will be used for 3%, 5%, 7%. I'm sure all of us would have had cough, and when we had cough, we went to our physician. Our physician scribbled and gave us what? A cough syrup, basically Benadryl or some other cough syrup. And this cough syrup, he would have prescribed us, you consume 5 ml, you consume 10 ml, you consume 20 ml. Based on the weight, he would have consumed the syrup dosage. Now, next point here is, after consumption of that syrup, we would have went for a nice what? Sleep. Why? Because the product contains alcohol. The only difference here is that product contains alcohol. That product is not alcohol. So how I could able to differentiate? If it is liquor, it contains 87% alcohol. In a bottle, it is going to have 750 ml. Then of 750 ml, more than 85% is going to be alcohol. That is different from a 100 ml bottle, which contain 4 or 5% alcohol. If it is 4 or 5%, it is not liquor. It is called as that product contain alcohol. Come on, if you have been having little link, or you could able to understand your chemistry well, okay, subject chemistry well, now you would be able to connect that alcohol is a carrying agent. If you want something to move, if you want your fragments to move, if you want your particles to move, if you want your blood to move, if you want an adrenal pressure, then you require alcohol. Without alcohol, nothing would happen. Now, points here for our discussion is, I'm sure now you will be convinced that all the medicine and medicaments and all those medicinal preparations are liable to GST. What is not liable to GST is hardcore liquor, which is meant for human consumption. If that be the case, then yes, it is not leviable to GST. Having said all this in our discussion, moving forward towards these aspects, from liquor meant for human consumption to some of these definitions, just be aware of these definitions from a constitutional perspective. Getting into the constitutional understanding, Article 246A. Article 246A gives powers to central government and to state government, that both the government will have power to tax any transaction if it is going to be a intra-state supply. Just recollect, in our last session, at the fag end, we told if it is an intra-state supply, then there will be a levy of CGST and SGST or UTGST. That is what is inspired in the constitution also. Union or state have the power to make laws. When it comes to intrastate supply, both the government will have power to make laws. However, when it comes to interstate supply of goods or services, it is Parliament will have a exclusive power. Make a note of it, exclusive power, which means the right to tax, the power to tax is exclusively available to me. Now, all that I would say over here is in case of interstate supply, in case of your interstate supply, where the government is very clear, only the parliament will have an exclusive right to tax. It is an exclusive right to tax which is available with the parliament. So when it comes to your intra-state supply, both the government, central government, state government, both the government will have power to tax. When it comes to interstate supply, it is only the parliament would have power to tax. That's on the introductory level, where who will have a power to tax. If it is an intra, both central and state government. If it is inter, then it is going to be only your central government. Now, a doubt might come to some of us. How I will know it is an intra-state supply? How I will know it is an interstate supply? You have to wait with me for at least minimum another 4 hours to discuss that topic. That's a separate discussion by itself. You want, however you want, you think as of today, sir, I will think that transaction happened within that state, then it has intra-state supply. If a transaction happened between the states, then it is an interstate. I leave it to you. You can think like this. I don't want to disturb your thinking. Transaction happen within the state, it is what? Intra. Transaction happen between states, it becomes interstate supply. How you're going to assume, I leave it to you. That's understanding is comfortable, but points for our discussion is, yes, in case of intrastate supply, both the government will have power to tax. In case of intrastate supply, only your central government will have power to tax. Article 269A. What do we mean by Article 269A? No doubt, just now only we have discussed that there would be a tax that would be levied by the government. What do we mean by levy, sir? Levy is nothing but a collection, an extraction, a method in which government collect tax. So that is called as your levy. Now coming back here, on you it is levied, on a supplier it is levied, on a recipient it is levied. So that is how we will use that term. So levy means a person who is going to, mean on whom he is liable to pay tax. I'll put it this way. Tomorrow if you're going to earn 5 lakh rupees of income, sorry, not 5 lakh, more than 5 lakh rupees of income. Let's say your CTC is going to start at let's say 8 lakh rupees for that matter. Now, on that 8 lakh rupees, do you have a levy of Income Tax Act? Do you have a levy of income tax? Yes or no? Prabhakaran, more particularly, do you have a levy of Income Tax Act? Yes or no? Prabhakaran, I'm waiting for you. When you raise a question, you have to respond. Yes. Now that is what is levy. Levy means nothing but Prabhakaran. The intention here is I am liable for it. That's all. So coming back here, when you supply goods, when you are in the business and you are supplying goods, that is selling goods, put it in this way, easy way. When you are in the business and you are supplying a services as an institution, as an individual, as a professional, then you are engaged in supply, and from you, government have the power to collect tax, levy and collect tax. They have the right to levy. That is called right to collect tax. That is called as your levy. Coming back here, Article 269A. Now, if a transaction happen within Tamil Nadu, you will call it as a transaction that happened within Tamil Nadu. You will call it as what? Intrastate supply, interstate supply, or how you will call it as? None of the above. Intra, inter. Good, 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 good. If a somebody wrote inter. 1 minute. Vignesh, it is intra. If a transaction happen within the state, then it is intrastate supply. Good. Coming back here, if a transaction happens between Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, if a transaction happens between Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, then it is going to be what? Interstate supply. You all answered. You all prepared for all this and went to exam. And in exam, what will happen, you know? They will ask question like this. Read. If a transaction happen between a person in Tamil Nadu, India, and a person in USA. If a transaction happen between a person in India and USA, inter, inter. Yes. Custom tariff, Ishwar. Customs tariff. Customs and all will not come here. Prithviraj. Sir, international transactions, sir. Correct, ma. But under GST, I understand. You're all agreeing. Sir, that is international transaction. Wow. We have to come with names for you only people. Good. Good. Now, law makes a deeming fiction. Let me repeat. Law makes a deeming fiction. In fact, Article 269A is only for that only. In case any transaction which is going to be import of goods or services into the territory of India shall be deemed to be a supply of goods or services in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Hope you could able to appreciate the highlighted portion. If a transaction happens between two countries, if a transaction happen between two foreign countries, law creates a deeming fiction that it would be treated, it would be deemed to be a supply of goods or services in the course of interstate trade or commerce. So that is the key for our discussion. So whenever there is going to be a transaction between two foreign countries, we will call it as interstate supply. When it is an interstate supply, then again Parliament will have a exclusive power to tax. Moreover, in case of import of goods, IGST will be collected as per Customs Tariff Act. In case of import of services, IGST is collected as per GST law. Two different treatment: import of goods under Customs Act, import of services under your GST law. But just make a point here: whenever transaction happens between country, be it import of goods, be it import of services, are treated as interstate supply of goods or services. So it will be treated as interstates. Moving forward, once implementation of GST, once GST is implemented, government has pulled all the goods to GST except one goods into GST. Sir, alcoholic liquor. No, alcoholic liquor, it is not liable to GST. One goods that is liable to GST, but they never brought into GST. Why, sir? Maybe the question why I would answer some 6 hours later, not now. We'll have an exclusive discussion on petroleum products. Now understand, state government never agreed. All the state government unanimously never agreed for bringing petroleum products into GST. Thus, all the petroleum products are not brought. No, no, no. Only 5 products: petroleum crude, that is crude oil, diesel, petrol, natural gas, and aviation turbine fuel, the one that is used in the aircraft. 5 petroleum products. Leave your tobacco and tobacco product consciously. That is a separate item which is not linked with anything. 5 petroleum products. Government told we will not levy GST on this 5 petroleum products. When GST is not leviable on this 5 petroleum products, some kind of taxes has to be collected. No. What government did is, we will continue with the old tax regime. What is the old tax regime? Collecting duty of excise or excise duty on goods produced or manufactured. So on this identified 5 petroleum product, I'll put in another way, or in other words, today if someone asks you, in India, do we have central excise duties? Your answer will be, yes, in India we have central excise duty. If you manufacture goods, you are liable to pay excise duty only to central government. That is why it is called as central excise duty, only on 6 products. 5 petroleum products and tobacco products. Just 5 products of petroleum plus tobacco products. On these 6 products, you are liable to pay central excise. Now, why it is like this, sir? I think I've already told. If you manufacture a laptop today, you are liable to pay GST. If you manufacture a mobile phone, you are liable to pay GST. If you manufacture a pen, pencil, box, any material, you are liable to pay GST. If you manufacture a petroleum product, let's say from the crude oil, you extract diesel. From the crude oil, you extract petrol. From the crude oil, you extract aviation turbine fuel. Then you are liable to pay excise duty, GST, both excise duty and GST, none of the above. An MCQ. If a company manufacture petroleum product, they are liable to pay excise duty, GST, both excise duty and GST, none of the above. A, B, C, D. What? Quick, 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 quick. I want all of you to answer. When you answer only, I will know that you are interacting with me. That is why we have all the facility. In fact, that is why we are coming up with an interactive class. Otherwise, I can record at my own and share it to you, the recorded video. The interactive session purpose is you are listening, you are digesting the understanding, and then communicating to the other person. which is a proof. Next time, if I ask a question, I want all of you to respond. It is always ideal you sit with a laptop or a tab than a mobile phone. In case those are all not available, then I would come up with the last segment as mobile phone, because some sort of respect is required for us for the learning. Come back here, getting into our further discussion. Same topic, a little differently to be discussed. Gauri Karthikeyan, check your answer. Answer has to be only excise duty. If today petrol is manufactured, if it is going to be petroleum product, high-speed diesel oil, motor sprint, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel, what is liable? Only excise duty is liable from central government perspective. Let me repeat. This is union government, union list. Central government alone have the power to tax. State government will not have the power to tax. In that list, you have a petroleum product liable for GST. Moving forward, consciously, central government kept tobacco product in excise duty list. Government thought, let's collect more tax from people who use tobacco products. So, tobacco is the only product. Let me repeat. Tobacco is the only product which is liable for both central excise duty and GST. Are there products liable for central excise duty and GST? Yes. The only product which is liable is going to be your tobacco and tobacco products. But for it, no other product, let me repeat, no other product is covered like that. Sir, give me one more example, sir. Kadallaye illa. Okay. Nothing of that sort is possible, in other words. Okay. So coming back here, my intention to discuss is one product which is liable for both GST and excise duty is going to be your tobacco. Petroleum products are liable what? Only for excise duty or GST. People who gave me a different answer has to come back with the right answer. Petroleum products are liable only for what? Excise duty. Only for excise duty. Let me repeat. Very clear. Have your confirmations. Make yourself more comfortable. These are all the MCQs that are tested in the exam. At this discussions, theory questions and all is not possible. MCQs are all possible. And you should be in a position to distinguish that difference only consciously. I picked up a different color and highlighted. Coming back here, like how central excise duty, central government levy is collected on those products. State government, look at that wording. State government collects a tax called as value added tax on all those sale of petroleum product, high speed diesel oil, petrol, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel. All these products, if it is sold, let me repeat, sold. Manufacture means central excise duty will come. If it is sold, then it would be treated as your, if it is sold, it will be liable for state value added tax. Again, these products are not liable to what? GST. Now, coming back here, in case of same value added tax, we will have one more product which is liable for VAT, which is going to be your alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is liable for that. Look at this, fellows. Tomorrow, very near future, it will happen. Tomorrow, if all the petroleum product goes to GST, then government, like how it is told in the constitution, all goods will be liable for GST. Nothing is liable, kept outside. That when that day come, on one product, central excise duty will be levied, which is called as what? Tobacco product. On one product, State will levy value added tax, which is called as what? VAT, value added tax, or sales tax, in other words, called as one product called as alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So, sir, are you trying to say in petrol there is no GST? Yes. Petroleum products currently are not liable to GST. Central government to collect its share levy excise duty when petrol is manufactured. State government to collect its share, they collect by way of they levy by way of collecting what? Value added tax. So currently on petroleum product, there are two taxes levied: central excise duty and value added tax. Central excise duty by central government, value added tax by state government. Both fellows got the revenue. If it goes to GST, very simple. Intra-state supply, both the fellow will get both the revenue. However, tobacco is liable only for excise duty. Value added tax liable for value added tax plus state excise duty. As it is a state matter, state excise duty. Vidya Shankar has raised a question. Sir, like tobacco, liquor too is harmful too. Harmful, no sir. Then why a similar model for liquor is also? No, liquor is harmful, correct? No doubt about it. What to do? That is a subject matter of state. State collects state excise duty, Vidya Shankar. We will not discuss about it as it is not part of our syllabus. But just for your information, I'm sharing it to you. Don't think liquor is left free. Liquor is taxed, highly taxed, for your information. There is something called as a state excise duty levied only on one product called as alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Plus, if you sell the product, there is something called as your value added. Now, how we can understand, sir? I would put questions. Let me repeat. I would give you products. I want you all to come up with what tax will be levied, both by central government and state government. Can we able to appreciate this discussion? Yes. So, I would come up with the product. If I say the product, you have to come up. What will be levied? Is it GST only? Is it VAT only? Is it VAT and GST? Or it is excise duty and GST? Or it is state excise and VAT? All combinations are open. To start with, if the product is going to be a machinery manufactured by a manufacturer, it is going to be a machinery. Yes. What taxes are applicable? Is it GST only or excise duty and GST, or it is going to be state excise and VAT, or excise duty and VAT? Quick, 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 quick. Yeah. Good, good. Lot of you all answering. All of you are all right. You all started understanding that logics. Now, this time it is raw cotton. Raw cotton. Let me repeat. Raw cotton. Janvi, raw cotton. Okay. Raw cotton means I'm sure you all will be able to understand what would be applicable. Is it GST or excise duty or VAT, value added tax? What is applicable? No doubt it is an agricultural produce. Sanjay, why excise duty, Sanjay? Sanjay, why excise duty? Check. If you go back, if you ask me to go to the excise duty slide, I would happily go. Check. Anywhere you saw raw cotton here? So does government have power to levy taxes on raw cotton? I don't think so. No. Not taxable. Prabhakaran. Hello? Prabhakaran. Why not taxable? I don't understand. We, Priyal Jain. Wrong answer. Deepa, VAT. Why? Why Deepa? VAT and all. VAT, you are seeing the slide. Where is the raw cotton here? Let me repeat. If your product is sold and that product is going to be the 6 products which is on your screen, then only it is going to be what? See, let me repeat it. Some of you all repeaters here, I understand. For you all, there is one problem. You all are thinking too much than the question. I am asking a question at a UKG level. You are all coming up with the answer of 8th standard level. Problem is this. Without understanding the logic, after UKG only 8th standard will come. If I ask cotton, if it is taxable, then someone comes out and says it is not taxable or it is liable to GST. Now let me repeat it. How it is not taxable? I don't understand that logic. Someone comes with a proposal of it is GST liable to reverse charge. First start understanding. When a question is asked, refrain your discussion only to the question. Don't go beyond. Always there would be a challenge for you. Okay. Now, any case, coming back here, getting into our discussion, if in India, if you sell goods, the 6 goods within a state, there is going to be a VAT. What are these 6 goods? 5 goods of petroleum product, 6th goods is an alcoholic liquor. Within India, if you manufacture the 6 goods, you are liable to pay excise duty. 5 goods of petroleum product, last product is going to be tobacco and tobacco products. Apart from all these, every goods that is manufactured, traded, anything in India, you are liable to pay GST. That's the game. That's all. Just 3 slides. Again, I'll come back to this discussion. I want all of you to take it up more seriously. Coming back here. Sir, what is the difference between VAT and excise duty? VAT is levied by state government. I think I have highlighted state list. I have highlighted union list. You have to listen to it carefully, my dear brothers and sisters. Pay attention. Every time when we repeat it, it would not be viable for us. Already our consumption of time will be huge in a virtual mode. What we used to complete in 1x, it takes 1.3x in virtual. And if you're going to come back on other points, what will happen? Nothing will happen. The questioning that I'm going to do for a better clarity subsequently is going to get stopped. That's all. Not to this topic. On a subsequent topic, it will get stopped. That's all I would share. I want all of you to concentrate very clearly. Come back here once again. Excise duty is a levy on manufacture. If you manufacture goods in India, we still levy excise duty, but only on 6 goods. In India, if a trading happens within a state, we levy sales tax called as value added tax. It is applicable again only on 6 goods. Hope that clarifies. That clarifies you relating to these questions. Come back here. Moving forward further to our discussion. If it is going to be laptop, what would be applicable? GST, excise duty and GST, excise duty and VAT, or that's all. None of them. Thank God. All of you answered it right. Thank you. We'll close it. Prithviraj. கடைசியா வேணுன்ட்டு வெறுப்பேத்தணும் யாரையாவது ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. Oh, you never understood Prithviraj? God only can help. I leave to him. If it is going to be your Prithviraj. Okay, can you unmute yourself? 1 minute. Or you raise your hand. Go to participants, select participants. There is a left hand side option will be raise hand. If you select that, it will come for me in the order high so that I can unmute you. Quick. Yes, you have been asked to unmute. Unmute.
Sir, hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, when we import laptops from other countries for sales in online shopping portals, excise duties in levied then no.
Sir, what is our question? Our question is a discussion from an Indian perspective, or a question is discussion on an import perspective. Are we discussing customs law or Indian GST?
GST.
You saw the previous slide. You understood what is excise duty. You are aware of it.
Yes, sir.
Is anywhere you find the laptop word here in the 6 items? Prithviraj? Okay.
No, sir.
Do you find any item here?
No, sir.
Then why? We are discussing for the whole of India.
Okay, sir. Yeah, okay, sir.
Then kindly understand, in India, you are levying excise duty only on 6 products. In India, if only on 6 products, if a sale happens within the state, only 6 products you are levying. Same 6 products, if it is sold interstate, there is something called as central sales tax levied.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't unnecessarily confuse yourself. Bringing
Yeah.
up with online shopping portal, import. Even on import, you will not be levied your
Okay.
on excise duty for laptop.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Now, coming back here, points for our further discussion. If it is going to be, let's take, it is going to be a tobacco product. If it is going to be a tobacco product, yes, what and all is going to be applicable for this product? What are all going to be the levy for this product in India? Will it be GST alone? Will it be GST and excise duty? Will it be excise duty and VAT, or only excise duty? Sumit Jain, check your answer. Guru, check your answer. Angel Sharon, check your answer. Arati, check your answer. Srinivasan, check your answer. Sumit Jain, check your answer. Abhirami, check your answer. Naveen Jacob, check your answer. Twinkle, check your answer. Dhanalakshmi, Mukesh, Ishwar, Biraj, K.S. Shubhashini, Sai Lokesh, just for your information, previous question also you got it wrong. This question also you got it wrong. That's all I can share. If it is going to be tobacco and tobacco products are liable for both excise duty and GST. Excise duty and GST. Let me repeat again. Straya Varshini, GST and VAT. No, excise duty and GST. You are seeing a VAT slide. Where is tobacco product? See, tobacco product, consciously I gave it in a different color. As a virtual presentation, that's all I can make. GST and VAT, Ishwar. Mark my word, You all going to have a challenging time as an MCQ question on this topic. That's all I can do. I have spent my time. I have shared what best can be shared by me. I cannot go beyond this. Beyond this, it would be little difficult for anybody to come and get it. Your wish, you take it up. Whether you seriously going to take it up or leave it as if it is 1 mark, does not make a difference to me. I will manage. It's your wish. In case if it is going to be the product that is manufactured and sold is going to be petrol, what is going to be applicable? GST only, GST and excise duty and VAT, none of the above. GST only, excise duty and VAT, GST and excise duty, none of the above. Abhirami, none of the above. Prabhakaran, again excise duty. There is no option as excise duty on itself. There are only four options. First was GST. Second one was GST and excise duty. Third one was excise duty and VAT. Fourth one was none of the above. GST. Hema. Thank God. Let God help you all. That's all I can pray. What would be liable is only your excise duty and VAT, value added tax. If it is a petroleum product, then both are. Take care of it. That's all I can share. Beyond it, predominant of you got it right. A balance of you who are all got it. Otherwise, you had a different answer. Then make yourself very comfortable. State government will have power to levy taxes. Additionally, apart from all those GST, a tax called as entertainment and amusement tax. Entertainment and amusement tax, yes. The state government will have power to tax. Earlier, this tax was the power to tax. This was with the state government. Now nothing has happened. This power to tax is now moved to panchayat and municipality. But just be aware, there is something called as an entertainment tax, and that entertainment tax can be collected by the state government. Of course, today it is all collected from. Today, all these are all collected from your municipality and panchayat. Just the power alone is there. Moving forward, getting into a new discussion, Article 279A. What do we mean by Article 279A? As far as Article 279A is concerned, Article 279A discuss about a council called as GST Council. What do we mean by GST Council? GST Council is a place where the Union Finance Minister chairs the seat, or Union Finance Minister is called as the chairperson. All those state finance minister has a seat, and no doubt Union Minister of State who is also in charge of all those finance ministry. Okay, MOS, very popularly called as Minister of States, MOS. Now that person will also form part of GST Council. Every state will have one finance minister. That finance minister will also form part of GST. It's a council. It's a body. It's a constitutional body which will discuss various matters and arrive conclusions. What product should be taxable? What product should be exempted? How to implement GST? What taxes and all should be subsumed? Whether a particular goods should be exempted or taxable. If it's taxable, it has to be taxed at 5%, 12%, 18% or 28%. What should be the rate of tax for this product? Or discussion about all that, including what should be the threshold for registration. Currently, we have a threshold of 20 lakhs. But a northeastern state means they are little economically backward, not like other states. Can we have same threshold limit, or we can increase or decrease the threshold limit? A discussion about all this is called as GST Council. In other words, GST Council is the final authority for any decision. Okay, I am not sure. Have you all had an opportunity to see a film by name called as Bahubali? Yes, saw the film. Yes or no? Yes. Prithviraj first சொல்லிடுப்பா yes இதுக்கு அப்பா எக்ஸைஸ் டியூட்டி வந்து பெட்ரோலியம் ப்ராடக்ட்ல என்ன பிருத்திவிராஜ் விழும் அவன் மட்டும் வம்பு பண்ணுவான். குட், ஹாப்பி. Come back here. Who is the most powerful authority in Bahubali, in Magilmati? Who is the most powerful authority? Kinga. Prithviraj, Kinga. இது கூட தப்பா சொல்ற. Rajamata, Sivagami. Okay. Understand what she dictates until she was there. What she says, that is final verdict. Okay. Coming back here, the Queen's mother. Queen's mother, King's mother. நீ படம் ஒரு தடவை பார்த்துட்டு அப்புறம் எனக்கு சொல்லுங்க. Now come back here. திடீர்னு எனக்கு படம் மறந்துடுச்சு. Come back here. Very simple. During 2017, there were two topics only sensational. One was Bahubali. Another was GST. Okay. So we have to discuss everything together. Now my core discussion is this authority, GST Council, is the final authority. That authority decides everything finally. Be it exemption, be it rate of tax, be it what should be the threshold, be it the principles of levy, whether who has to pay tax, how much they have to pay tax, whether petroleum products should be brought into GST or not. For everything, who will have powers? GST Council, we give recommendations to both the government, both central government and state government. GST Council will give recommendations to both the government. Both the government will act based on the recommendations of GST Council. Coming back here, just be aware, this is a most powerful authority which is constitutionally constituted. Just constituted constitutionally. Now, when it comes back to this authority, that authority is being chaired by, the chairperson is Union Finance Minister. Currently, the Finance Minister of the country will be the chairperson for GST Council. Currently, who are all going to be the Union Minister of States? Okay, MPs who are all Union Minister of States, they will also be forming part of the GST Council. Currently, who are all going to be the state finance ministers? Every state will have one finance minister. They all will be the member. Every matter they will discuss and then only take a collective decision called as GST Council. There is a network constituted. A Section 8 company was incorporated, which is popularly called as Goods and Service Tax Network, GSTN, Goods and Service Tax Network. Now, this is a Section 8 company, which means basically not for profit company. And this company, where purpose of this company is just to provide IT infrastructure and provide services to central government and state government and taxpayers for a successful implementation of GST. Today, Pan India, the GST database the GST server, the GST login, the online activities, the sites, the transactions, the generation of e-bills, everything is in-housed by a company, managed by a company called as GSTN, Goods and Service Tax Network. It's a Section 8 company. Of course, it has a particular shareholding pattern where central government will hold 24.5%, state governments will hold 24.5%, HDFC Bank holds 10%, and HDFC institution holds 10%, ICICI Bank holds 10%, NSE, our NSE Strategic Investments, or NSE, your National Stock Exchange, NSE holds another 10%, and LIC Housing Finance Limited holds 11%. That is how that 100% hold. Make yourself more comfortable. These are all tested from a CS perspective, more important. Will ask you question. HDFC holds how much percentage? They'll ask you in an exam. Would your answer be different if it is a HDFC bank? Okay. So all that stuff will be asked. Be prepared for questions of that type. Don't expect very great questions, very theory questions and all here. MCQs are going to be your order relating to all this. Coming back here, getting into functions of GSTN, what goods and service tax network is going to provide to government and to assessees. It takes care of various activities like registration for GST, return filing for GST, payment of taxes for GST, followed by all those support in connection with managing the law, plus appeals, refund of this, other end, approval of registration, conducting an audit, all those internal workflow and how to move the data, plus a big data analytics using business intelligence tool. Various data, a lot of data that is being collected by GSTN, and they use it for many purposes. The core discussion for us here is, this is a company whose main intention is to provide information technology network for a successful running of GST. That sums up our discussion relating to basic aspects of GST, be it the legal background, be it the GST Council, be it your goods and service tax network. Once we're done with this, we can step into the body of the GST law, where it has acts, it has rules, it has notification, it has circulars that are all issued. In any case, understand very broadly, may not be required at a very minute level discussion to you. Act is the main legislation which is issued by the central government. When Act is issued by the central government, Act will come out and say every person who crosses 20 lakhs of turnover has to get himself registered. If you ask the same Act how to register, then it will say, I don't know that and all. That and all you refer to rules. The procedural aspect of every discussion is always handled by rules. Act what? Or rather than what? Who? Who is liable? Who is not liable? How to do it? Rules. Any changes in the rules will come through notification. Any changes in the rate of tax will come through notification. Circulars are clarifications given by the government, which is largely binding to government than the assessor. So broadly, the law is classified into 4 types: Act, rules, notification, circular. Basically, today, be aware of it. When we go little by little, you will be able to know a lot, but just that would be sufficient. In terms of the Act, we have CGST Act, which discuss about intra-state supply of central portion. We have SGST Act, which discuss about intra-state supply of that state portion. We have the IGST Act, which applies throughout India for an interstate supply. We have a GST compensation cess, which is collected only on selected products. Additionally, where of course pan India it is collected. Additionally, on certain products alone, a tax is collected to compensate the state governments. A cess called as GST compensation cess is collected. For that, there is an act for it. Similarly, for all this, how to do it, we have rules and notifications are issued in the respective acts for corrections, changes, everything, which are all form part of your GST. Coming back here, getting into the first section of CGST Act, which comes out and says this act will extend to whole of India. Very simple, whole of India, no exclusion. At least for the first week of GST implementation, it would have applied to whole of India other than Jammu and Kashmir. But after 8th July, remember this date, after 8th July 2017, the law extends to whole of India. Absolutely, law extends to whole of India. So make yourself more comfortable on that one ground. As far as CGST Act is concerned, it extends to whole of India. SGST Act is concerned, every state there will be SGST Act. Tamil Nadu SGST Act applies to Tamil Nadu. Andhra Pradesh SGST Act applies to Andhra Pradesh. Karnataka SGST Act applies to Karnataka. Kerala only to Kerala. That is how. SGST Act will apply only to that state, but CGST Act applies to whole of India. Getting into some important definitions under GST. Very, very important definition. Some of these definitions that are listed here are verbatim picked up for exam and tested for 2 marks. Make yourself comfortable. Only for the 2 mark we are learning here. Beyond that, nothing great here. So, India, when it comes to definition, like India is concerned, India would include territorial waters of India, the landmass of India, that is territory of India, territorial waters, seabed subsoil, continental shelf, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone, maritime zone, and the airspace above the territorial waters and the territory of India. Let me repeat it. The word India is defined, already tested in exam. India means what? India means India. India. University in diversity, nothing. No university in diversity. No this, that, and all. We are brother, sister. No story and all. Come back here. India has to be legally defined. People will say territory of India is India. Not only territory of India, your Indian territorial waters. The airspace above the territory of India and Indian territorial waters. Continental shelf is India. Contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone, other maritime zone, all are treated as India. Sir, what are these zones? Yes, I would take it. Baseline, from the baseline up to 12 nautical mile, from the baseline up to 12 nautical mile, you will call it as your Indian territorial waters. Indian territorial waters means from the baseline. Sir, baseline means what? From the place where your land and water touches. From the baseline, first 12 nautical mile is called as Indian territorial waters. From the baseline up to 24 nautical mile is called as contiguous zone. Contiguous zone, not form part of the discussion or list here. Contiguous zone. No, sir, continental shelf is there. That is separate. From the baseline up to 200 nautical mile. From the baseline up to 200 nautical mile, you will call it as your exclusive economic zone or continental shelf. So continental shelf or exclusive economic zone will extend from the baseline up to 200 nautical mile. Contiguous zone, which is otherwise called as other maritime zone. Okay, contiguous zone will form part of your other maritime zone, which will be applicable up to 24 nautical mile. Indian territorial water applies to 12 nautical mile. 1 nautical mile equal to 1.86 kilometers approx. So in a manual calculation, you can take 2 kilometers. That is from the beach where you stand, which is the place where water and land touches. From that place, inside 12 nautical mile, that is 24 kilometers inside, whatever you do, all are treated as activity done in territorial water. From the baseline up to 48 kilometers, whatever you do, all are treated as happening in India. From the baseline up to 400 kilometers, whatever you do. The simple question that I'm going to ask you is, a company had its a company had its oil rig in 142nd nautical mile. Is the activity happens in India? Yes or no? A company has a oil rig in 142nd nautical mile. Is the activity happens in India or not? A team of people came from Discovery Channel and they want to explore the under the sea of Bay of Bengal, and the complete shoot happened on 124th nautical mile. Discovery Channel want to have a under the sea activity of Bay of Bengal. 124th nautical mile, they went under the sea and took some photos, videos, this, that, and all. Happens in India, does not happens in India. If it happens in India, it does not happens in India. Because it's not happening in your land mass. It's not happening in your airspace. It's happened. Is it? Is it covered by in India? It is happens in India. The answer would be yes, it happens in India, liable for GST. Then can we move forward? Yes, any doubts here? From baseline up to 12 nautical mile, territorial water. From baseline up to 24 nautical mile, contiguous zone. From baseline up to 200 nautical mile, it is exclusive economic zone. Immediately one doubt will come. Sir, beyond 200 nautical mile, what it is, sir? You want to know? Beyond 200 nautical mile. Sir, beyond 200 nautical mile, what it is, sir? It is called as high sea. Let me repeat, high sea, high sea, high sea. The high seas, HSI, or otherwise called as international waters. Agree? Yes, no doubt. International water, high sea, or synonymous words. Can we move forward? Getting into next two important words. Goods. Section 252 define the word goods. As far as section 252 is concerned, goods means very simply as completed every kind of movable property. Every kind of movable property is called as what? Goods. Other than money and securities. Other than money and securities, every kind of movable property. So every kind of movable property other than money and securities are treated as what? Goods. What do we mean by goods when we get into that definition? Goods means every kind of movable property. Are there any exclusion? Yes, two exclusions. Money is not a goods. Securities is not a goods. Of course, the same definition. Go one step further and says this items, it includes actionable claim, growing crops, grasses and things that are attached to earth or farming part of the land, which are agreed to be served before supply or under a contract of supply. That is to say, even grasses, fruits, vegetable, everything that is grown, which is there about to get ripe. Once it is ripe, it is an agreement that I would take it up. The moment mango comes in the tree, I will cut and go when it reaches a particular level. Goods means every kind of movable property other than money and securities. And it includes actionable claim, growing crops, grass, things attached to the earth, which will be cut and served as part of goods. Core discussion, every movable property is goods other than money and securities. True? Can we move forward? Done? Yes. Sumit Jain, I'm not sure. What you are not able to get it clear? Sumit Jain, there. Coming back here. When it comes to services, services means a negatively defined definition. Section 2(1)(2) defines the term services. Anything other than goods, other than money, and other than securities. Beautifully worded. Anything other than goods, money, securities is treated as what? Services. But it includes activities relating to, it includes activity relating to the use of money. By using money, if you do any activity, then yes, it would be treated as service. It includes activities relating to use of money. I'm not sure you're aware of a business called as chit business. Chits. Shriram chits. You see advertisement. No, chit business. Periodically, people will make one payment. Okay. They'll get one small benefit out of it, which is a service, use of money. It's a game of money. Or its conversion by cash or any other mode from one form of currency or denomination to another form of currency or denomination. It's not just exchange in currency. It's not mere exchange. It's not I'll give you 500 rupees, you in turn give me 500 rupees. No. It is not that I'll give you 500 rupees, you in turn give me 10 rupees. No. It is I will give you $500, you in turn gives me 35,000 rupees. I would give you $100, you in turn give me 7,000 rupees. That is called as, that is what we call it as conversion of one form of currency or denomination to another form of currency or denomination, wherein which a separate consideration is charged, for which a separate consideration that is going to be charged, then yes, it would be treated as what? Supply of services. Take sometimes situations. You will go to the bank and give the bank 50,000 rupees, and you will ask a DD from the bank. At that time, are you not using the money? Is it not an activity relating to use of money? Yes. But for that 50,000 rupees bank DD, Will the bank will not collect from you 150 rupees charges extra? Yes. So that is called as use of money. You use the money, but you are going to pay additional consideration. Yes, it would be treated. Yes, it would be treated as supply of services. Services more specific. So very simple understanding services. Service means anything other than goods, money, and securities. I'm sure you all know what is securities. Securities means security is defined as per your Securities Contract Regulation Act. Okay. So share, debenture, mutual fund, government paper, commercial paper, all are covered under the broader term called as securities. Money means money. Money means what? Anything that comes to your mind? Money, 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 money. Quick, quick, quick. Money. Money is what money does. பிருத்திவிராஜ் பேரு வச்சாலே அப்படி யோசிக்க தோணுமாயா? அந்த பேருக்கே அப்படி தோணுமா? ஓகே. காமன் மீடியம் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச். குட். ஸ்ரீனிவாசன். எஸ். Liquid cash. You want example for good definition? Laptop. Laptop, mobile phone, charger. You look around. In the room you are sitting now, look around. Okay. In the place where you are sitting now, look around. 1,000 goods will fall in your eyes. And you want me an example. Huh? Money, money, money. Money means what? I'm waiting for a particular word. It's a medium of exchange, agreed. No doubt. One important one. Instrument to buy things, agree. Has store of value. What store of value? Sumit Jain has come up with the answer. Legal tender. It's a medium of exchange. Legal tender is the most important word. I would ask you this question, maybe sometime it may not be little, you'll feel a little easy to you, but even then I would ask this question. The old 1,000 rupee note and the old 500 rupee note, is it money? Is it money? Old, no? So don't get confused with new. Somehow I missed the word old. Old 1,000 rupee note, old 500 rupee note, is it money? It is no longer a legal tender in India. Once it is not a legal tender in India, then it is not a money. Now, this is the interesting part of this discussion. If the old 1,000 rupee note, is exchanged, if old 1,000 rupee note is exchanged, is sold, is it money or goods? If the old 1,000 rupee is sold, is it money or it is goods? Arya, check your answer. Nivedita, Niveta, my question is very clear. Is it money or goods? I don't want anything. Within these two words, what you're going to select? Ishwar P, check your answer. Subhalakshmi, check your answer. Sabarish, check your answer. Sumit Jain, I want answer among these two words. Shruti, I want answer. When I sell the old note, it would be treated as what? Goods or money? So it would be treated as goods. That's the discussion. So come back here. Goods means movable in nature. Anything other than goods, anything other than securities, anything other than your money would be treated as services. Definitions are important. Definitions will come as such as definition. Coming back here, getting into some more definition. The easy definition like person, you all know. Person means broadly there can be two types of person. One is a natural person, you and me, natural person. Two, legal person. It could be a HUF, it could be a company, it could be a firm, it could be LLP, it could be a AOP, it could be a corporation established by the central government, it could be any body incorporated outside India, it could be a cooperative society, local authority, central government or state government, society, trust, and every artificial judicial person. See, they have copied something from the erstwhile income tax law, and and they also copied something from the erstwhile service tax law and brought everything here. All that I would say over here is, in case of all these transactions, in case of all these transactions, remember, whenever you come across the word person, whenever you come across the word person, the word person is so wide and it would include every type of person. Let me repeat, every type of person who are all covered over here. It could be your individual, HOF, AOP, BOI, artificial judicial person, local authority, central government, state government, company incorporated by central government, body corporate, which is all those outside company brought in over here, or it is a cooperative society, trust society, everything. All are treated as person. Sir, in case if something is missed, that is why you use a word called as includes, which means inclusive definition. What I gave as a list is a example. It includes if something is missed, that would also be included. In my view, nothing is missed. Okay. Recollect your income tax person definition and all. There are only 7 people. Here, almost everything have been brought, including central government and state. Then another definition, supplier. Interesting definition. Who is a supplier? Who is a supplier, sir? Any person who is supplying goods or services is called a supplier. Read, in relation to supply of goods or services or both, person supplying the goods or services, including his agent, anyone who is acting on behalf of such person, such supplier, in relation to goods or supply or both, would be treated as supplier. Section 2105 comes out and defines that any person who is going to supply goods or services. What do you mean by supply goods or services? The academy who is coaching you is called as supplier of service. I, in turn, sign up a contract with the academy and I supply my services to the academy. I, on my individual capacity as a chartered accountant, being a partner of a partnership firm, I sign an audit on behalf of my partnership firm and provide some services to my clients. Then I am supplying goods, I am supplying services. Then I would be called as a supplier in that transaction. So every transaction would have a supplier, every transaction will have a recipient. Recipient means whom, where consideration is payable. Wherever consideration is payable for supply of goods or services or both, the person who is liable to pay the consideration is called as recipient. In fact, the person who receives the consideration and the person who is liable to pay the consideration, they would be called as recipient. Any person to whom a supply is made shall be considered as the recipient of supply. So, any person who receives the services, any person who receives the goods, and that person, if they are liable to pay a consideration, then no doubt they would be treated as recipient. Sometimes, rarely, there are people who will not pay consideration. In case they are not going to pay consideration on those circumstances, in case of goods, the person to whom the goods are delivered or on whose possession the goods are made available, then it would be treated as your recipient. Similarly, in case of services, the person to whom the service is rendered, that person would be treated as a recipient. When it comes to recipient, the person who is going to receive the services. In my case, when I provide some services to my client becomes the recipient. In your case, the academy who provide the services to you, then you become the recipient. Academy become the supplier. Beyond that, nothing great about it. In a transaction, you should be in a position to decide. When someone gives you certain facts, then you should be in a position to decide who is a supplier, who is a recipient. Because sometimes the levy is on the supplier to pay tax, sometimes the levy is on the recipient to pay tax. R Limited. R Limited has supplied goods to, it's not R Limited, sorry, small correction. S Limited has supplied goods to R Limited, and R Limited has paid the consideration for the same. In this transaction, who is supplier and who is recipient? In this transaction, which is just on your chat box, S Limited has supplied goods to R Limited. R Limited has received the goods, and R Limited has also paid the consideration. S Limited is a S Limited is going to be your supplier and R Limited is going to be your recipient. Almost all of you got it right. Good. You all responding well. Now this time a little change in our facts. R Limited engaged Q Limited to supply goods on its behalf. R Limited engaged Q Limited to supply goods on its behalf to P Limited, and P Limited received the goods and paid consideration. Who is going to be your supplier? Who is going to be your recipient? Be very clear. R Limited engaged Q Limited to supply goods on its behalf to P Limited, and P Limited receive the goods from Q Limited. In this background, you have to decide. Shamir, check your answer. Shamir, check your answer. Sumit Jain, check your answer. Priya, check your answer. Sai Venkatta, check your answer. Mohammed Munul, check your answer. It's going to be your Q Limited would be your supplier. Gauri, check your answer. Q Limited will be your supplier. P Limited will be your recipient. Why sir Q Limited? R Limited has asked P Limited to supply the goods. Not R Limited. Yeah. R Limited has engaged Q Limited to supply the goods. If that be the case, then Q Limited becomes the supplier. Sir, where it is told, sir? And shall include an agent acting as such on behalf of the supplier. Okay. So here, who is supplying is more important. See, maximum your testing will be like this only in case study question or scenario question. Otherwise, nothing great here. Theoretical discussion. Taxable person. What do we mean by taxable person? Any person who is registered with GST or who is liable to get himself registered with GST is called as your taxable person. Any person who is registered with GST or any person who is liable to get himself registered with GST, then that person is called as taxable person. So taxable person means a person who is already registered with GST or any person who is liable to get himself registered with GST. Why? Because this person who is getting registered, he would be registered with GST. And any person who is liable to get himself registered, he should get himself registered with GST. Failing which, what happens here is, many places in GST, they will refer only taxable person. They will say, who is liable to pay tax? Taxable person. Who is a taxable person? Who is registered with GST or who is liable to get himself registered. That second word is more important. Who is liable to get himself registered. That is what is going to be the most important point. Not only people registered who are liable to get themselves registered. Apart from taxable person, we have two types of person. Casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. What do we mean by both? Casual taxable person. The name itself suggests they are not into regular business in that place. They are occasionally going to do business. Means who occasionally undertake transactions involving supply of goods or services in the course or furtherance of business, either under the capacity as principal agent or any other case, in a state or union territory where they have no fixed place of business. When a person comes from Andhra Pradesh, comes to Tamil Nadu, in Tamil Nadu, he is going to put stalls only for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, and do businesses, then he would be called as a casual taxable person. Casual taxable person means who occasionally undertake transaction involving supply of goods or services in the course or furtherance of business, whether as principal agent or otherwise, in a state what? Tamil Nadu, where he does not have a fixed place of business. Is this person regularly registered in this state of Tamil Nadu? If your answer is yes, then he cannot be treated as casual taxable person. No, sir, this person belongs to Andhra Pradesh. Today we are conducting, this 1 week we are conducting a national business fair. He came for the national business fair or all India business fair, or we are going to conduct a trade fair. He is in Andhra Pradesh. He wants to participate in the trade fair, so he came. Sir, they are a big book house in Delhi. They want to participate in the book fair in Tamil Nadu. So they came to Tamil Nadu for participation in exhibition, for participation in trade fair, for engaging supply of services temporarily, occasionally, and in a place where they don't have a place of business. In other words, where they don't have an office. Then that people are called as casual taxable person. Every fact remains same. Non-resident taxable person means any person who occasionally undertake transactions which involve supply of goods or services or both, whether as a principal agent or otherwise, who has no fixed place of business or residence in India. If that fellow does not have a place of business or residence in India, then that person is called as non-resident taxable person. If that fellow has a place of residence in India, but in that state he does not have an office, in that state he does not have a house, then he would be treated as casual taxable person. Kindly make a note, all of these people have to get themselves registered and pay tax to government. All of us are all blessed, but for the last few months, because of the pandemic, we are all not moving. Otherwise, every business fair, trade fair, we would have went. In all that business fair and trade fair, one item you will get. Otherwise, you will not get anywhere that item. What is that item? It's an edible item. Okay. What is that item? If you had the opportunity to go to a book fair, if you have an opportunity, GSTN. Edible item, yaar. Sapara purul, edible item. Lace. Come back here. Ice cream. Kadavule. Ayyu. Milka. Oila. Hello. Come on. One item you will get only in trade fair. Ba. இப்பதான்பா எல்லாரும் சொல்றீங்க. You have your answer. Drinking food. Hello. You all went to trade fair or not? One fellow here, he will give you big size of what? Drinking food. Not went, sir. ஈஸ்வர் முதல்ல போப்பா. அப்பா அம்மா வீடு நாய்க்குட்டின்னு வாழாது. ஓகேவா? ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் வாழ்க்கை. சாஃப்ட் ட்ரிங்க்ஸா? ஹலோ, கோவப்படுத்துறீங்க. Delhi aplam, very popularly called as big aplam. Okay, deep fried item. Now, if you carefully note why Delhi aplam I thought here is 90% it is a community from Andhra Pradesh come and does that activity. Any case, community people. A point here is very simple. In case of these transactions, those people are called as casual taxable person. That's all. Beyond that, they don't have house in this place. They don't have office. Sir, if they have house and office, taxable person. Because they occasionally undertake transaction, because they're going to do business only for that 10 days, it would be treated as casual taxable person. If Omasatayo Abayo from Tanzania comes down to Chennai and engage in a business activity, then South African fellow, Tanzanian guy comes to India, engage in a business activity, then he would be treated as taxable person, casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person. If he occasionally undertake transaction, he would be treated as non-resident taxable person because he is coming from a place outside India and he does not has a residence in India. So we should be in a position to decide whether a person is a taxable person, casual taxable person, or non-resident taxable person. I'll give you a situation, you decide. Mrs. R sold Mrs. R in Andhra Pradesh sold handicraft items in a business fair in Tamil Nadu, Chennai. Okay. Her usual place of business and residence is in Andhra Pradesh. She came for a 5-day sale in business fair. So is she is a normal person, taxable person, casual taxable person, or non-resident taxable person? Quick, all. Non-resident taxable person. Deepa, அதாவது 10 பேர் ஒழுங்கா ஆன்சர் ஆயிடுச்சா அதுக்கு திருஷ்டி வேணும் யாராவது ஒருத்தர். ஓகே, good, nothing commented. Just see, if you scold somebody in your regional language, no, you get an enthusiasm. Sorry, English is not the right language to scold. Fire, yes, beautiful language. If you fire in English, then that's all. But certain aspects, regional language. Come back here. Moving forward from your taxable person, casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person. A person from Andhra Pradesh has office in Andhra Pradesh, resides in Andhra Pradesh, come to Chennai to participate in a book fair and sell few goods for just 5 days. Then she is occasionally engaged in a business transaction. Then she would be treated as a casual taxable person. Moving forward from this, that fellow who came to Maharashtra from Canada, I believe, and he had a music show sometime during last year. What is that fellow name? Per ticket itself was sold for 15,000 rupees here. One fellow singer. Hmm. Hmm. But for Shrey Varshini, I want somebody else consciously. Vidya Shankar. I am not ready, Dava. Hello. Arjit Singh. No. Oh, that concept name is. Oh, I don't know. Honey Singh. A.R. Rahman. I'm talking of a foreign guy. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, who came. The point here is Justin Bieber came here, conducted a show, occasionally engaged in business, occasionally engaged in a business transaction, having no fixed place of business, in India, then he would be treated as your non-resident taxable person. Without a place of business in India, if they come engage in certain commercial activity, would be treated as non-resident taxable person. Principal. What do we mean by the term principal? On whose behalf an agent carries on the business, then that person is called as principal. Agent, which includes a factor, broker, arhati, auctioneer, by whatever name called, that is not. Who carries on the business or receipt of goods on behalf of another person. On whose behalf somebody act, then on whose behalf other person is going to act, then the earlier person is called as principal. And when someone acts on behalf of another person, then that person who acts on behalf of another person would be called as agent. Indian contract law understanding. I am not pushing you much to learn. last few definitions of GST on that job work. Job work is defined under GST as far as job work is concerned, where any treatment or process carried out on goods belonging to another person, that activity is called as job work. Let me repeat, where any treatment or process undertaken by a person on goods belonging to another registered person. R Limited supply goods to S Limited. S Limited receive the goods, process the goods, and send back the finished goods. The activity done by S Limited is job work. They treat the goods, they process the goods on goods belongs to whom? Other person. Any treatment or process undertaken by a person, S Limited, on goods belonging to another person, called as job work. So, come back here, further discussion. You happen to give a fabric to a tailor. The tailor cuts, makes good garment to you and give it back. The activity engaged by the tailor is a jobber, not a jobber. The activity engaged by the tailor is jobber, not a jobber. Or work or service. Carefully, if you read, it would be treated as a job work. It would be treated as a job work. Okay. It's like a bailer bailey. Bailer bailey and all, let it be there. Job work, understand here. Bailer bailey and all, different context, not here. It's a job work. It's a job work done by a person. So when one person accepts the goods of another person, process the goods, convert into a finished goods, and give it back, then that said activity will be treated as job. And the person who does the job work would be treated as job worker. The person who does the job work would be treated as job worker. A word is there, agriculturist. Agriculturist means a person who is engaged in his own labor or the labor of the family, or engage a servant wage payable under his personal supervision. The word agriculturist is defined consciously for a purpose. Means an individual or HUF. A company and all cannot be agriculturist. Only individuals or HUF can be agriculturists. That too, either they are involved directly in agriculture, or their family members are involved, or under their supervision, or the supervision of any member of family. This family and all, if you put, what is family, next doubt will come. Okay, because you have to remember some of the celebrities' family. So, coming back here, when it comes to whose family, what is family, all that stuff. Family means all those spouse, children, parent, grandparent, brothers and sister, if they are wholly or mainly dependent on the said person. If they are wholly or mainly dependent on the said person, then yes, it would be treated as family. So coming back here, family means the spouse and children and their parents, grandparents, brother, sister, if they are wholly or mainly dependent on that said person. So if any of these people are going to monitor this, then yes, the concerned person would be treated as agriculturist. When we go to registration, these words casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person, taxable person, agriculturist, then family members, related party transaction, family members, these words gains its momentum. So we'll do one thing. At this level of definition discussion, we will stop. because all the other four definitions that are being lined up for us for the discussion, all four are important definitions, completely important definitions, which would request us to spend some more time, be it a definition called as business, be it a definition called as a 217 business, 231 consideration, 2 subsection 6 aggregate turnover. All three definitions are important definition, would take up about at least some 45 minutes of our time. I don't want to press today. Take your own time. When we meet in our next session, we would take it as part of our discussions. So coming back here, this sums up the discussion for today. And if in case you have any doubts, yes, I would allow you. You can unmute yourself and we can take it up questions. Thank you all for effective and patient listening. Thank you.